Are you a pet entrepreneur and or pet marketing professional? Do you want a place where you can gain innovative marketing strategies, receive actionable advice, keep up with the latest trends, and thrive in today's market? Welcome to the Pet Marketing Mastermind. All guests are proven and successful marketers in the pet industry. Hello, everyone. Please welcome Mindy Dutka, a photographer and storyteller at Dogs I Meet. Thank you so much, Mindy, for joining the Pet Marketing Mastermind. Please tell everyone about yourself and Dogs I Meet.
Well, thank you, Joe, for inviting me on. I'm thrilled to be here. And so Dogs I Meet is essentially a pet photography business. I'm a mission-driven organization. And I like to say I bridge dog advocacy with marketing through narrative-focused visuals.
Fantastic. How long did you found at Dogs I Meet? How long has that been an established organization?
About 7 years ago. And I started Dogs I Meet. I decided I really just wanted to create a business that I was passionate about. And I took my two loves, dogs and photography, married them. Wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to do with them together or how to make a business. So it's been a journey, and it's been really interesting, and I've loved every minute of it.
That is one of my favorite things about the pet industry is a lot of people are following their passion in this space. There's other industries and other opportunities. You'll meet that from entrepreneurs. Like, I really had a passion for this. I had a dog in my life that changed it. We'll get into that in a little bit. What was your first marketing strategy role, pet or non-pet? It could be when you're working for sales in Fortune 500 companies, as an entrepreneur, as a teenager. What was that first role where somebody gave you the marketing hat?
Let's see. Well, my really first role was probably I was 7 years old and decided I was going to sell my toys at a garage sale down on a table at the end of the driveway, and thought I was brilliant because I got 50 cents, for a $10 toy. My parents weren't really sure what to do with that. But my professional role, in a marketing sense, I was the director of sales and marketing it was called the Chase Development Center. It was a day conference center downtown in the Wall Street area in New York. And basically it had been built for Chase business, inside business, and then they realized there wasn't enough business. So they brought me on, and every other company was my job to get them to want to come to this state-of-the-art day conference center.
Very cool. Very cool. I imagine that was quite a different role. What, if any, difference in marketing to pet owners or pet businesses in your case as a B2B versus other consumers? What's something you do when you're marketing your pet photography business that you didn't do when you're marketing an event space?
Mostly I think the key is emotion. The pet industry is driven by emotion and that connection of the human-animal bond. So it's really important to tap into that, which is where the visuals come in as well, because it evokes a deep emotion that stays with you. And it also allows, the cool thing about pictures is it tells a story, but it allows you to imagine a story as well.
I imagine so. Yeah, I look at some of the photography you have on either your hashtag Dogs I Meet, on LinkedIn and across the web, or even on your website, and I feel like there's a story behind each one, like they could come to life. And so I love that emotional aspect, because I absolutely agree. Is like, we're not just purchasing a product; we're purchasing a product for a loved one. And there's an emotional connection of seeing what that does and how you marry those two things together.
Exactly. And the pet industry, the tagline to my business is because every dog has a tail, T-A-L-E. And, when I started it, always thought about dogs they have so many stories that you wish you could hear, especially if you rescued a dog. You wonder, what their story was before. But they have a lot of stories, and then they have the stories they bring to us. And if you move that one over into pet products or pet services, it's about the stories between you and your dogs.
Exactly. We do have a rescue. His name's Mickey Mouse, and we tell ourselves all that time. We're like, what was his story? What did he go through? Why is that little thing so important to him? So I absolutely love the stories, and the tale is fantastic. What marketing campaign were you part of that you were most proud of, and why? Let's stick to pet marketing for this conversation. It could be from one of the boards. I know you're on several boards in the advocacy space, or it could be something you've done with Dogs I Meet. What was the one marketing campaign, or maybe it was a tagline, or a photo you took that really has stood out in your mind after all these years, or maybe it happened?
Well, I did work for the Veterinary Emergency Group, which it's a very story-driven organization. They're really changing pet health and pet hospitals. For anyone that's not familiar, they are 24/7 emergency veterinary hospital. They currently have probably over 70 locations across the country. When I started working with them, they had 9. What's different about them is that they don't separate you from your pet. If you want to, you can sleep overnight next to your pet. You can climb into the cage with your pet. You can look through the window of them doing surgery. It's a very transparent, open, it's an open ER. And the founder of Veterinary Emergency Group knew it was about these stories and the emotion and the bond and what was happening inside of the hospital. And it was hard to capture photos that really, captured what was happening for a lot of reasons, just a hospital setting, the harsh lights. So they hired me to photograph their stories. And I spent a lot of time in many of their locations, primarily doing documentary photography, where I was just, capturing what was happening while in the heat of the moment. And I got many beautiful, compelling visuals that told their story without having to say a word. I mean, not to be trite, but, a photo says 1,000 words. So I was very proud of the work that I did for Veterinary Emergency Group. And they used it through all their marketing channels, from their billboards to their website, to just that's how they decorated their hospitals. So that was a really interesting time when I worked for them.
That's a beautiful story, and obviously as a pet owner, if everyone's ever gone through a health scare, to be there with your dog. And I love sorry about that.
That's okay.
My dog decided to join the podcast as well, so
he's got a story to tell.
He does, very much so. But I love what you said there, that documentary style photography. It didn't seem like you probably had your camera equipment, you probably were just there, but you were just taking photos and capturing the moment, which I think sometimes in pet photography, we feel like it has to be a shoot a day. And it looks like you were there, on the scenes, in the moment, kind of taking it as is.
Exactly. I mean, my job really was to be invisible, and just capture what was happening, and catch those moments of that eye contact, those expressions, even when it wasn't, a lot of times the dog or cat's owner didn't want to be in the photo. So I didn't capture their face, but it didn't matter. You could still get the story with just their hands, with just the connection, of what was happening. And that's a lot of, in the dog advocacy work that I do as well. I go to spay-neuter clinics and I photograph to create awareness, to raise funds. So that's also very much of a documentary style. And even when I'm photographing and it's not documentary and it is a photo shoot, authentic is really important to me. That, some of it's staged and you're looking for the angle. You want to make sure there's nothing coming out behind their head, all of that. But, to me, it's about the dog and the animal and whatever's unfolding. And also just capturing that moment. You might go in with a shot list and you want to do this, that, and the other thing. And similar with kids and dogs, they've got their own agenda. And, so you got to let go of maybe what you thought it was going to be. And some of the best photos are in between, like when it wasn't even part of the shoot, and that becomes the one the client loves the most.
I love it. Of being just in the moment, understanding the emotion you want to portray, and go from there. Kind of shifting a little bit, but actually on kind of the same page here is, we all maybe have a dog. Maybe some of us have an Instagram for our dog, or we're taking product photography with dogs in them, or hiring a company. What is some tips and tricks that when you take a photo or you're about to take a photo that like this is going to be the one? What's a hidden secret you have to taking or recognizing some really fantastic dog photography? This could be with a product or just the dog itself portraying emotion.
It's the expression. It's also the dog is relaxed. So I always like to say I go on the dog's time. It's not like you do a headshot photo shoot and it's like, okay, hurry up, we got 5 minutes, get in there and smile and look natural. It doesn't quite work that way. So you need to spend a little bit of time and build a rapport between myself and the dog. And the same thing with people. You want to catch that moment when the dog is relaxed and feeling comfortable with you. One of the number one things that I will say is you want to get down on the dog's level. So you want that photograph, that's where you really get that expression and that feeling when you're on their eye level. A lot of people tend to take a photo looking down on the dog. And it's a very different, you want to capture the dog's viewpoint and the dog's world. So being on their level is super important. And for me, the eyes is the most expressive. So I'll keep my focal point on their eyes.
I love that. The relaxed, the dog's timing, keeping that photo down. Yeah, it is one of those things where you see it and it pops off the page or the screen of like, wow, this is there's some emotion behind this. From a business owner perspective, kind of putting that hat on, and a marketing owner perspective, what do you want a business or an advocacy group to see when you have a marketing goal? So what does a campaign from Dogs I Meet look like? How are you kind of getting new clients as a pet B2B pet business? What are you doing from a marketing perspective to get your name out there?
From a marketing perspective, LinkedIn I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. I've gotten a lot of clients from LinkedIn. I've made a lot of connections and network. It helps me stay fresh on what's happening. A lot of new products and things like that. Dog advocacy is very important. So I'm big on collaborations and authenticity, in the product. And an interesting thing about pet products is very, very often, you alluded to it before, the origin is a story that something happened with the owners and their pet, and there was a need, and that's why they created whatever they created for their solution. Even back to veterinary emergency group. The founder was a veterinarian at a large emergency hospital in New York, and they immediately, took the pet away from you, and you don't know what's happening. And that's wrong. When you go in with your child to an emergency room, they don't take the child away from you, So he created a solution to change that from an emotion and a problem that he saw. Same thing, a lot of the dog foods, farmer's dog. I could go on and on and on. And if you find, you dig into that origin story, it's related to the human-animal bond and a problem, and they created a solution. So I think that's such an important part of what the product is. And that's where, I want the stories and the photos that I take to reflect that all throughout. That's what it was.
I love that, of like connecting, and you have this connection with your advocacy. And I think the pet space is so intertwined with advocacy and doing the right thing for pets, that it feels like this natural ball rolling down the hill. You connect with more people, they hear about your heart, they're a pet product owner, they're a business in the space, and it continues on. And I love that it feels like it's really a natural conversation in your marketing versus a hard sell and a hard reach out.
Exactly. And what I've started to do recently is the bridging of the dog advocacy with the branding. I have several different programs. One of them, I call it the shelter dog program, where I'm using shelter dogs as the models in the photos. So there's a story within there, and the brand is behind it. So part of the fee is a donation to the rescue that the dog came from. But then that creates ripples. It, number one, gives that shelter dog professional photos. It gives them exposure. It gives the rescue exposure. It shows that brand is walking their talk. They really care, about what they're doing. And then it's also an opportunity for additional exposure through social media, through the content channels, because everybody's a partner in that. The rescue, where the dog came from, is now part of, them participating, is pushing out this campaign through their social media. And it becomes a more layered story for the brand, especially, now, and then that dog gets adopted. So that's one program that I do. I'm very big on collaborations and finding ways, and it might even be not showcasing the brand. The brand may see something that I'm doing that they really love. And let's just say I'm working with an organization that has a great mission. And they need to tell their story, but the nonprofit doesn't have money. The brand that hired me believes in that story and wants to get that story out there. So the story gets told through my photography, through my storytelling. And then at the end, it shows that it's sponsored by such and such a product. So it's a soft sell, but it's got...
I absolutely love that your campaigns tie into your marketing, and like how you have this collaboration where like these dogs need exposure, these organizations need resources, the brands need eyeballs, and so it's this partnership that you've created within your organization. It feels like you're doing a lot of handshake meetings with from brands to organizations. If you work at either one of them, please reach out to Mindy. Please reach out to Mindy. To make that connection. Shifting gears just a little bit. And kind of taking this head on, because I know we talk about this a lot on the podcast, AI in regards to content creation, obviously creating blogs and text, but now with the advent of AI being able to create imagery and potentially even photorealistic imagery. I've seen some examples and played with it myself and used it for brands. As a photographer, what are your thoughts on brands using photorealistic images created by AI?
It's missing the emotional connection that I talked about. That's the human element. So that's why overall I'm not a fan of it. There's just something about freezing a moment in time of an interaction, through the lens of someone's camera. And it took a human that saw that had the skills, that put that together. Having said that, AI is here. Get on the train, or you're at the boat port when the train goes by. So, I think that AI is a part of what we're doing, but it's not to take over everything. It could be used as an assistant. It could be used to help. It's also I think it's good maybe for more of a design work where you're not looking as much for that emotional connection. And, I understand that not every brand, can afford a professional photo shoot. So, if it works for you and it's helpful, but it's not a substitute to, for that human connection.
Absolutely agree. I think there's something genuine about a piece of photography that really captures an emotional state. We're using it in some of our clients as mock-ups. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's play with 100 different concepts in AI. Mm-hmm. Hey, we like these 3. So when we have a photographer on set, hey, these are the 3 we like, these angles. We've played with them in different platforms, but they're using it as realistic mock-ups. Mm-hmm. Versus trying to take 1,000 photos when the photographer's there, and picking 3. So, but I love the fact that you're embracing the new technology, not running away from it, because I think it can be a tool. But absolutely agree that there is something about that photography, and obviously AI will improve, and the skill set of photographers improves as well. So there's a balance. But I thank you so much for addressing that. And we're not, you're not running away from the new technology, but let's embrace it and use it as a tool.
Right. And then the example you just gave is a perfect example of a good use of it. It's a time saver for everybody. It's just not a substitute. The same thing if you're going to write a blog, it's if you let it do the work for you, it doesn't do it as well. But if you use it as a tool and your inputs, because you've already written something and you just want to see, get another perspective of how you can improve it, that's different to me.
Very, very, very much so. Yeah, it is not going to make you creative, but it will help you as a tool to refine it.
Right.
Outside of AI, what marketing tool are you most excited about in the future? This could be, partnerships. This could be events. This could be some new online platform where you can submit your photography. What marketing tool outside of AI and LinkedIn are you most excited about utilizing in the next, let's just say, 3 to 6 months?
I really like the idea of brand activations through collaborations. So for example, let's just say you're a pet-friendly hotel. And maybe, again, I'm using the shelter model. So the dogs are, rescues. There's stories to be told within them. Maybe have a photo exhibit inside the lobby of the hotel to extend that campaign. It creates user content. People like to snap photos of themselves in front of the photo exhibit. So it expands what's happening. I think that there's a lot of opportunity. I did have an event company for about 20 years. So I sort of like to bring that skills in with projects that I'm doing. So I think that's really interesting. And at the core, it's the collaboration. I think there's just so much to be said about collaborating and making it a richer campaign.
I absolutely love that on that like partnership side where like everybody brings what they can provide to the table, and it's a bigger, richer table. The advocacy groups get their exposure, the brands get their attention, the hotels, foot traffic. They're not competing against each other. They all feel like they're a richer experience from working together. And if you can be that conduit to connect everybody, what a fantastic environment, because then the photography becomes this catalyst that tells a richer and deeper story. Absolutely love that. Since you've been in the marketing, in the pet space, pet business to business marketing space, for 7 years with your business, and obviously prior to that, with your event business, so B2B seems like maybe that's your cup of tea. What final piece of advice do you have for a pet marketing professional? This could be an entrepreneur who's just starting a B2B business company, or an executive who's been doing it for many years and needs some additional advice. What's Mindy's secret sauce at Dogs I Meet?
Don't overthink it. Be authentic. I hate to keep using that word, but when you stay with that, again, your story is told. I have a quote that I love, and it's basically, no one ever made a decision because of a number. They need a story. So there's just, what story do you want to tell? Even if it's just the love, like think about the Farmer's Dog Super Bowl commercial. It was a love story. It was a love story. And that's the story behind that brand. And it was so simple, but so powerful. So I think it's just keep telling the stories.
I absolutely love that. People don't make decisions with numbers, with stories. That seems like that needs to be a bumper sticker, a billboard, and everything in between, with a beautiful photo to sum it all up. Well, Mindy, thank you again for joining the Pet Marketing Mastermind. This has been an absolute master class in storytelling, from how you told your story to encouraging others to tell theirs. If people are interested in maybe collaboration, one of your partnerships, or potentially one of your photography sessions, how would you recommend that they follow up with you and get in touch with you?
You can reach me by email, hello@dogsimeet.com. My Instagram is @dogsimeet. My website is dogsimeet.com. LinkedIn via my name, Mindy Dutka. So, just reach out to me, send me a DM, send me an email. There's a phone number on my website. Love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Yes, if you are a brand or an advocacy group, or wanting to partnership with either of those, please reach out to Mindy. She can help you collaborate and tell those stories, and use her camera as her pen to tell the story. Well, Mindy, thank you so much for joining us on the Pet Marketing Mastermind. Thank you all for listening to this. If you are interested in being a guest, please message me on LinkedIn or email me at joe@sharemarketing.agency. Again, Mindy, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking with you.